Hello everyone and welcome to some musings with Rebecca. Today I wanted to share something that's been brewing on my heart for the last maybe week or so. Those of you that follow me will be familiar with the fact that I attended a Kundalini activation process last weekend. And the experience was so profound for me that it has just been lingering in my system, in my mind, in my body since the moment I left the building. The experience itself was something that I can only describe as being plugged into the mains of spirit, as if divine itself reached down and plugged itself into my vessel, my body, my being, and the essence of spirit, the electricity, the divine itself just ran through me as if I was a pure channel, and it manifested its way through me in dance, in movement, in my spiritual awareness being heightened. I was seeing visuals, I was seeing visions. I was feeling sensations within my energetic and emotional body. Emotions ran through me. I had tears running from my eyes. I had a smile on my face as the joy, the sheer just vastness of almost like turning on every channel in my body, as if it was like, right, let's going to a fuse box and flipping up all the switches, right? Here's the joy, here's the sadness, here's the electrical orgasmic feeling, here is what it feels like to feel bliss, as if spirit had just come in and turned on all of the aspects of myself in that fuse box of my being. And then if there were to be physical sensations, they were all just switching on. That's the only way I can describe it. And this experience lingered with me for quite some time afterwards, and it's just left me in this place of real contemplation and gratitude and acknowledgement and curiosity. There's this curiosity that has opened up. It's as if knowing what it feels like to have all of your fuse box switches turned on, it also brought that comparison in of that is not how I always feel, and I'm not always that tuned in, and if that's how it feels to be connected to the divine, give me some more. And not to the fact that it has to be so quite power punchy, but I've noticed that this channel, this connection to the divine is still living within me. It always has been, but it's like you tasted and you saw that this was good, so why would you ever want to step away from that? So let's just take this down into a few aspects that I have been focusing on. So let's say, for example, the visual came on, the imagery of what it felt like to be completely in tune with divine, knowing that I can see things, I can be aware of things, I can be led, I can be guided. It has brought about this feeling of that's what it feels like to surrender. And it was like, I want to be living in line with divine more. And I go running, and I run in nature a lot, and I found that my awareness has just turned on, like just being on the earth and to feel the trees and the wind upon my face blowing through my hair. There's this sense of I am with the divine. And eating a meal that I've cooked for my family, and having conversations, sitting on a solid wooden table on these chairs, this element of sitting and eating with divine. The experience of having divine source be with you in every moment, whether that be a simple meal or a conversation or a run. It's as if God has come and just touched my lips and given me a kiss and said, I am always with you. I'm always with you. I am within you. I'm within every cell of your body. I realized that there is an imprint, there is a pattern, there is a code, there is a fingerprint of God, source divine, whatever you wish to call it, on everything. I'm looking at the blade of grass and I'm seeing God living within her greenery, in a single teardrop, in a sense of emotion, in a sense of joy, in a dance. God is there, present. God walks among us without us being aware. And I think that's what's happened, is that obviously I am spiritual, I'm awake, I'm aware of God, but this is like, no, God is in everything. There is an energetic fingerprint of divine love within every plant, every drop of rain, in the gust of the wind, in the crackling of the lightning storm. There is God, and God is within us. And what a divine union to be plaited together, to be braided together with God himself. And yet the separation that comes is the lack of awareness of that. And that's quite a tragic thing, to have this separation, that we are not divinely braided with God. And when we don't know and see and feel this divine braiding, then there is a breakdown, and the opposite effect can happen, because we simply disconnected from that life source, that pure love, that trust, that knowing that everything's okay. Even when everything around us seems like it's not, everything is okay. And there is this just deep reverence that has filled my being from this connection. And it's not about fancy flapping of the hands and hey, this is my spiritual experience, check me out. That's ego. That's not it. This is such a pure surrender, a surrendering to an almighty knowing, a humbling. It's the opposite of ego. There's this humbling of, wow, God lives within us. God is within our being, within our frame, within our fingerprints, within our thoughts, within our heart. There is such beauty there. There is such aliveness. There is such knowing. There is such poetry and dance and joy, and my understanding of life is unfolding. The very way I'm viewing life is very much like a thorn, a plant with thorns, like a rose. That even in the experiences that we would consider to be negative, where there is a sharp thorn that's pricked our finger and we may have bled, that even in the thorn, even in the difficulties, even in the seemingly imperfect, there is, God can bring about a lesson, a pearl of wisdom and insight. Such beauty can come from these experiences that we would otherwise consider to be negative. And I was reading something the other day after this experience, and I'm just going to share it with you. It's called Opening the Heart. That man who attains to the secret of unity, who is not detained at the stages on the road. Your being is naught but thorns and weeds. Cast it all away from you. Go and sweep the chamber of your heart. Make it ready to be a dwelling place of the beloved. When you depart out, he will enter. In you, void of yourself, will he display his beauty. And there was this real feeling of, gosh, yes, we should sweep out the chambers of our heart. We should make ourselves empty vessels, because then we make space for this divine presence to fill us. If you empty a jar, then there's more room for the water to be poured in. But we have to be empty first, empty of ourselves. If we're leaving parts of ourselves in there that are resistant to God and lack of trust or lack of understanding or lack of surrender, then we're mixing God with us, and it's a oh, I had an experience and I had this moment, but it's not divine union. It's not emptying ourselves completely and fully surrendering, because if we actually fully surrender, all the possibilities that awake, the possibilities that can arise within in this experience of humanity, to be poured out, to be filled up. Such beauty there in this surrender. And then what's happening is you're not taking the wheel. You're not saying I'm in charge. You're allowing what your soul wants to experience to come through, because you are in surrender and trust that divine is within you, leading you, guiding you, shining through you, looking through your eyes, using your hands to touch those who are broken. And I feel so much more called to allow divine to just breathe through me, to live through me. Not that I disappear, I become more alive, in fact. We fear if I let go and surrender, I lose myself. No, actually, we become activated, we become alive. It's like, just because you drink a cup of coffee and you feel all electric, you're going to have this divine kind of feeling of, I've got my adrenaline running. It's this substance is pumping through my veins and I have this energy. You don't lose your personality because you are caffeinated. And just allowing God just to drink of the river of life, and to let it flow through you in a way that has to only come through surrender. There is a real surrendering. I will leave you with just a final thought. When I was younger, I've shared before that I actually tried to take my life, and I was very depressed at the time, and my mother was very ill. And I remember after this experience, these angels visited me and said, no, it's not your time. There's this whole life ahead of you. And a few weeks passed, and I had this profound experience where I met God. I met the eyes of God. There was like this huge eyes in the universe, and I looked deep within the pupils of Source itself, and all I saw was pure love. And I saw myself within these eyes, and within these eyes I saw everyone, and we were all part of this beautiful source. It was the same source, and I just connected to it. And this voice, this booming voice, said to me, you gave up your right to your vessel, your human flesh skin, when you tried to abort this life. So could I perhaps use it, this vessel of yours? And I just surrendered, and I said yes. And as I said yes to divine source using my body, to use the fact that I'm grounded on this earth, that my feet are here, my hands are here, my mouth is here, I can speak on behalf of these hands. Almost I saw these hands stuffing stars into my body. The universe was turning itself inside out, like a sock being turned inside out. I was being filled with the universe, and with every kind of like pushing down or filling me in with this universal starlight, stardust, source energy, my body felt it. Like it was like, oh, what are you doing, God? Like source, what great love, great mystical spirit, what are you doing? And in the same way, I was then shown a picture of a funnel where air would flow through it, in order, like you have them at airports and various places, to show the direction of the wind, because the wind would flow through. So you can, this funnel is used to show where the wind is flowing. And Spirit said to me, your vessel will show where the wind, where the spirit is directing people to, and the funnel of your voice will direct people and guide people. But it came through this surrender. And so I just wanted to share that with you today. If that resonates or encourages you to let go, let go of the wheels, let go of your control freak mind. It's actually caging you and restricting you from experiences that your soul is asking for, and that's why you're feeling this resistance. That's why you can feel this tightness, this restriction in your life, in your thoughts, and the things that you want you can't get, but because you're holding on so tight. I challenge you to let it go. Let it go and let God. I love you today.